There's no worse feeling than loss. We do everything we can to avoid it, yet it's inevitable. Not having something and then finding it makes it special. Having something then losing it makes it irreplaceable. There's a whole storm of things that makes Berserk an amazing story. But it's when Guts loses everything during the eclipse that catapults the story from good to legendary. My first experience with Berserk was watching the 1997 anime, which ends with the huge cliffhanger of the eclipse. That moment simultaneously makes Berserk the story it is and ruin Guts' life. While for the show it's an insane cliffhanger, for the manga it is the catalyst that pushes Guts forward throughout the story. Whether that's revenge on Griffith or taking care of Casca, it's all thanks to that catastrophic moment. Attack on Titan is known for its intense opening couple of episodes. Pretty much right away we see Eren's entire life get stomped on before him. His mother, his father, and his home all taken from him right away. Like Guts, this is the catalyst for his adventure, pushing Eren forward to join the Scouts and fight against the terrors of his world. Eren only sees more death and more loss as the story goes on. Dark Souls is a story about being afraid of losing something that was once beautiful. The world around you is slowly losing its light, its flame is going out, and the entire world is decaying around you. As you play, you die over and over again, with each death getting more and more stressful as you come close to losing all of your progress. For if you die twice without picking up your souls, you've essentially lost everything. The world itself is being lost to disease and is stuck in a state of limbo when we enter it. With the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender coming out, I was reminded of how this childhood story that I loved watching starts, with Aang losing everything, his entire culture and family. In Dragon Ball Z, Goku loses Krillin, causing him to lose his sanity and go Super Saiyan, which, to be fair, is kind of a dub, but still. All these great stories are flooded with loss, and we love it. The story of Berserk is so iconic because of Guts' struggle forward. In the story, he's literally the guy that won't go away and keeps getting in the way of the true hero, Griffith. Of course, we got like hero like that because, I mean, we all know what he did, but, you know, some characters he's painted as a hero. So, you know, Guts is the dude that keeps getting in the way. What's wrong with it? Just like, let Griffith be cool. Through reading, we get to see this lonely torture that he goes through, and at times he's losing himself or barely holding on, and he doesn't really know where he belongs for a lot of the story. And honestly, I think that's kind of badass, because who hasn't felt themselves that way? Although, for him, he's fighting demons. For us, it's like sending an email or waking up early, which is just way too much. Such a struggle, am I right, guys? Also, he does cool stuff and he looks really cool, and I think that that should be noted. Now, obviously the story hasn't ended, but even just seeing him with a new group of friends, bonding with new people, it feels great as a fan of the character. And I think it shows how just because you've lost something doesn't mean there's not better to come. Now, Dark Souls isn't about a guy struggling to live, find out where he belongs, but instead it's about getting absolutely destroyed and failing over and over again until you lose your sanity, but eventually feeling like an absolute G when you finally beat the boss that you've been stuck on for, like, let's be honest, 6 hours. And while the gameplay is about perseverance, the narrative is about change, which I talk about in a lot of my Dark Souls videos, which you guys should check out. And this change comes along by accepting the loss of something that was once important and beautiful and bravely moving forward onto something that's bold and unknown. And I think there's something incredible about a game that makes you suffer all the way through it just to end and ask you to give up everything that you've accomplished and snuff out the world's last light in order to find something new. I think that's awesome. That's really cool. In Avatar, my favorite character is Zuko, mainly because he's cool. But also there's an episode where he basically gets everything that he wanted and he's chilling on a beach with some of his old friends. And as a kid, I didn't really get this episode. I thought it was kind of a waste of time. But as an adult, the scene where he explains how he's angry with himself and clearly is confused on what he's supposed to do is quite powerful. And it goes back to the beginning of the story where Zuko's father steals his honor. But by the end of the story, it's clear that Zuko is the only person that can restore his honor. And he has to do that by finding himself and what he believes in. And I think that's pretty cool. Also, I brought up Aang losing his family and culture, but he restores peace and gets a new family through his gang that follow him through his ragtag adventures. So he's chilling. We can talk more about Avatar some other time. I just want to talk about Zuko right now. Oh, and Krillin just gets wished back by the Dragon Ball, so honestly, Super Saiyan was super worth it. Heck yeah. No deeper message about Dragon Ball in this video. I left Attack on Titan out of the last part on purpose. While the ending is satisfying in my opinion, it's definitely not a happy ending. One scene looking back in Attack on Titan that's very powerful is in the 3rd season when Eren comes face to face with a Titan that ate his mother. And he's not able to transform no matter how hard he tries, which just leaves him like crying, slamming on the ground, talking about how much of a useless failure who hasn't changed he is. And to be honest, that really sticks with me. Not only being unable to deal with a loss that was unforeseen, but then later to come face to face with a situation that's similar and realizing that you haven't changed is crazy and super depressing. Now, the beauty in the end of Attack on Titan, while it's kind of a sad ending, is that it felt like Eren really couldn't do anything to change the end, but he was able to accomplish one thing. After so much loss throughout the story, a story where anyone could die at any point, it seemed like more death to main characters than any other show you're gonna watch, basically. Eren was able to save the 2 people he cared about the most, Armand and Mikasa. And I think that in a story all about loss, all about ruthless death to everyone at any time, being able to save the 2 people that matter the most to Eren was a beautiful ending. And I like that. This is nowhere near all the loss in popular media. Just some examples that I wanted to highlight. Loss, of course, is bound to happen, and I think it's kind of foolish to ignore it. However, when embraced, looking at the grand scheme of things, I think loss can be beautiful. If Zuko never lost his honor, would he ever be on the path to become a better person? Without the loss of the Band of the Hawk, would Guts have ever found his true purpose? Or be able to create a bond with his new friends? Would Goku have ever gone Super Saiyan and looked really cool? When we experience loss, it feels like there is an eclipse over our life and we can do nothing about it, like it is the literal end of our story, like the 1997 anime. But what we don't realize is there's still plenty to come if we just wait, be patient, and just get past the hurt that's in front of us.